Hey, what is up everyone, this is PvT-Mitten's, and today I'm going to be continuing my series of games I'd like to see return. As you can see by the title, it's going to be an RPG called Phantasy Star. I hold this series dear to my heart, so this is going to be a 5-part series. It's going to have 5 episodes, and I hope you guys enjoy and stay tuned. So without further ado, let us begin. Phantasy Star was released in 1987 for the Sega Master System in Japan, and then 1988 in the rest of the world for the Master System. Now, before I actually get started, let's do a little brief history on it. With the extremely successful Dragon Quest game, Sega said to themselves, right, we need an RPG for our own system. So they got the team that worked on Alex Kidd to work on Phantasy Star, and an upcoming developer to help with them, which ended up being the guy that would go on to make Sonic the Hedgehog. So Sega made Phantasy Star. It came out within the same month as Final Fantasy, so that's how close they are between each other. But what I want to bring up before we actually get into the game is, in America, you got Dragon Warriors, as they used called it, and the early Final Fantasy games. In the PAL regions, that's Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and all, we never got them. In fact, we never got a Dragon Quest game until Dragon Quest IV's remake on DS. I've only ever played one Dragon Quest game, main series Dragon Quest game, should I say, sorry. And that is Dragon Quest VIII on the PS2. And same with Devil. I mean, I actually give him my Dragon Quest VIII copy. So we've only ever been able to play that main entry of Dragon Quest. Final Fantasy, I don't think the very first Final Fantasy Europe ever got. I could be wrong. Might have been Final Fantasy 6 or 7. It was one of the two. So it goes to show how, long we didn't get them. We also didn't get Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG, all that there. That gives you a rough idea how fleeced we were by Nintendo. But Sega released Phantasy Star for everyone. Didn't keep it exclusive to a system, to a country. So, little rant out of the way, let us actually begin. Phantasy Star takes the cake in terms of innovation, whereas the aforementioned Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest were, warriors, dragons, and wizards. Phantasy Star was futuristic, with Greek mythology mixed in, of course, but it was noted for being futuristic. It drew inspiration from Dune, Star Wars, Star Trek, all the other successful, sci-fis there, even a bit of, hints of some H.G. Wells there too. But for them to do something like that for a JRPG was a big risk, and it paid off tremendously for them. Now, the game takes place, without spoiling anything for the story, the game takes place in the Algol system, which consists of 4 planets, which, by the way, you get to visit every one of these planets throughout the game. So yes, it has space travel, beating out Mass Effect and Star Ocean. And you get later on, when you get close to the end of the game and you have free reign over where you go, you can revisit any planet. You're not just stuck to one planet for a certain part of the story. Now, the main character, I'll go with the main character next. Elise Lansdale, or Landale, but she's a female lead character. Now, before her, there was only 2 notable lead female characters in games in general, which was Samus Aran and Miss Pac-Man. Now, Miss Pac-Man, never really liked, don't even like Pac-Man, to be honest. I like the game, but not the character. Now, Samus Aran, I love Samus, she's amazing, but let's be honest here, her early forte into the gaming world, she never really had a personality, while Elise had a personality. In fact, she's one of the best written characters we've seen in an RPG, and quite frankly, she's one of the best characters we've ever seen in gaming. That's how good she is. I don't really want to spoil anything, as I said. Now, the story to be really quick, brief, no spoilers, you got a corrupt government, she seeks revenge, and then you fight said evil, save the world, that kind of thing. So that was pretty different for the time as well. I mean, it doesn't sound like much now, but it was different. But let's get to some of the things this game did. It had anime style, or manga, should I say, sorry. It had manga style cutscenes, which look very outdated now because of, the system it was on. But for them to do that at that time was incredible. And I mean incredible for the time, where all dialogue in most games at the time were told through a box. They were doing cutscenes for most of the game, and that doesn't just stop there. They also had moving sprites, which for the time no other game did this, where the enemies would move, your character would you actually see them attack the enemy, and every animation had a different look and feel to them depending on the weapon and character. The backgrounds varied from snow, desert, forest, so it was very detailed and very good looking as well. But the one thing that stands out for this game for a lot of people is the first person 3D dungeons. Now, when you enter a dungeon in this game, if you've been watching the video, you notice that you walk around the map as a sprite on the map. Well, the 3D dungeon, you'd go into first person and you'd navigate the dungeon in 3D, and you could walk around the corner and bang, an enemy's there. I loved that feature. It's the one thing that Phantasy Star lost, and it never returned to the series, which is a bummer, and a lot of people agree that it should have come back for the rest of the series. But these 3D dungeons looked incredible. They give you that, feel and awe of the actual, immersion of the dungeon. Difficulty-wise, the game is your typical grind. Not grind, but it's fair in some ways. It gets pretty hard towards the end, but most games do anyway. Now you're wondering, how the hell did they do this? Well, we all know the Master System was more powerful than the NES, but how they did this is they actually built an exclusive cart for this game, where it had a battery built into it to save, just like Zelda had, but they put an extra chip in it to actually, help render these dungeons and all, which goes to show how big this game was when they actually had to build a custom cart for it. The music in this game, great for its time, but the weakest out of the 4 games by far. Some tracks do stand out, but as I said, it's not the best in the series in terms of music. Now, you got side characters in this game, but there were set side characters. They're going to be ones that follow you. And what actually set this apart from others as well is they actually had personality. Like, they'd all have a reason to be there. They'd have, stories to tell and that there. Something that was unheard of in 1987. And that is pretty innovative, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. But as I said, it's a turn-based RPG. It's fantastic. The story, without spoiling anything, weakest out of the 4, but still great nonetheless. Now, let's talk about, what it actually, is received throughout the years. Now, there is no review for this game outside of Sega magazines and that, but there's one I particularly want to talk about. Someone called this game a technical achievement, and you're probably thinking, whoa, yeah, of course it is a technical achievement, but who said it? None other than Nintendo Power. Yes, Nintendo Power called this game a technical achievement, and it's not the last time they called one of these games something really spectacular. So for your rival at the time to come in on your game like that is pretty phenomenal. It also sits in the top 100 best games of all time in a 2006 list by 1UP and Game Informer. They put it at number 72. It did get one award in 1988, which was Best Graphics, which, if you could tell by this video, the graphics are phenomenal to this game. I mean, this game looks so good, it could have been passed off as an early Mega Drive / Genesis game. And without question, it's one of the nicest looking games of its generation. I mean, hell, it puts a lot of PC games to shame. But that's the main game. How did I come about to playing this game? Well, honestly, I didn't come playing this game straight away. I wasn't the first Phantasy Star I played, so I more or less came into this game after playing one of the others. Now, you're probably thinking, is it my favorite, my least favorite, that kind of thing? I'll leave that till the 5th episode. Now, the game did get that's good English. The game did get some ports and remakes later on down the line. It got the Game Boy Advance, the Saturn, all that there. But if you want to play this game on the cheap without having to pay too much money for it, I suggest going to buy the Sega Mega Drive Ultimate Collection or the Sonic Genesis Collection for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. You get all 4 games on the disc, and it's the best and cheapest way of playing the game. But Phantasy Star, what a game. What an innovative game to the genre. And if you think we've finished here with innovation, you are dead wrong. You want to see what the other 3 introduced for, gaming in general, never mind genre. But yeah, that's really all for Phantasy Star 1. As I said, the music, story and all is good for its time, but not the best in the series. But yeah, I love this game, but I'll leave it to episode 5 of what I'd put the order of the series in. Now let's end the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please leave a comment and tell us if you liked it or not, and hope you guys stay tuned for the next couple of episodes. This is Private Mittens. Hope you guys enjoyed, and take care, guys. See you later.